Hello there. Welcome to the Bay Area Case Studies Virtual College Fair. Thank you for joining us tonight. A few quick housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your cameras and microphones are off so the panelists can't see or hear you. This is one of many different sessions happening. Be sure to sign up for more sessions. This presentation is being recorded. It'll be available within about a week at strivescan.com/BACS. Now, very quickly, if you've been to other sessions, you know how this works, but this is a 6x6 session. 6 schools presenting for 6 minutes each. There is no way you can get enough information to make an informed decision just from a 6-minute session about a school. You'll have more questions. You'll want to know more. That's the whole idea. So think of this as an appetizer to kind of get your appetite going so you can get the full meal of doing a follow-up with a school or more than one school, whether that be a virtual visit, on-campus visit, a one-on-one session with a representative, that sort of thing. So these are just to see which schools you're interested in. Well, now that I've gotten the housekeeping stuff out of the way, I'll step out of the way, turn it over to our first school, the University of Oregon.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ruth Rodriguez, and I'm an admissions counselor at University of Oregon. I'm regionally based here in Northern California. So a little bit about UO. It is located in Eugene, which is a town of about 150,000 people. The best way to describe it is that it is a suburban town in a rural setting. We're about 2 hours south of Portland and 3 hours north of the California border. This is a beautiful aerial view of our campus. We're on about 1 square mile. It's a super easy campus to navigate. It takes about 15 minutes to walk from one side of campus to the other. But the majority of classes and residential halls are in the center of campus. So students usually take 5 to 7 minutes to get to class. We are on the larger side of a mid-sized campus with about a little over 18,000 undergraduate students. We do have students from all 50 states and over 100 countries, but we're very popular in California. About 25% of our student population is from California, and it's pretty even northern to Southern California. We have over 70 majors for students to choose from. It's really easy for students to double major. Students can definitely graduate in 4 years. The reason that this slide says 168 academic programs is because within our majors, we have concentration. So for example, if students were to major in business administration, they could pick a concentration in finance, sports business, or marketing. For journalism, students can pick amongst media studies, advertising, and journalism itself. We offer a lot of great opportunities for students, including studying abroad. Students can do a typical study abroad program, an internship, volunteer work. We have over 300 programs in over 80 countries. Almost 25% of our students participate in some form of study abroad. Our most popular programs are our summer programs. Students don't like to be away from campus, so they tend to want to do a summer program. And so those are the ones that they take advantage of the most. If students are looking for a very traditional university experience, UO can definitely provide that. We have a great sense of community, a lot of school spirit. There's so many things for students to be involved in. We have over 300 student clubs and organizations. About 20% of our students participate in Greek life on our campus. Truth be told, a lot of our school spirit comes from athletics. We are Division I Pac-12. You may have seen some of our sports teams do really well on TV. We're always really excited about supporting our Ducks, but we also have intramural and club sports for students to participate in. We do require students to live on campus the first year. After the first year, most students move off campus, but typically they literally move across the street. There's so much housing right around the university. We're a really great college town for that. Students can take advantage of on-campus housing that first year and really cater to their experience that they are looking for. We have academic residential communities where students take classes with their hallmates and they are led by a faculty professor. We offer all the resources necessary for students to be successful. So if they're having a challenging time in a class, there are tutoring services. If a student has a learning difference and needs accommodations, they would work with the Accessible Education Center. But maybe a student needs a job or is preparing to graduate and needs help with their resume or cover letter writing. Our career services are a great resource for students through that process. Now, a little bit about the application process to UO. Students can utilize any of the 3 applications that are listed here on the slide. We have no preference. So students can definitely use the common application, the coalition, or the UO application. What's more important is that students keep in mind our deadlines. We do have an early action deadline of November 1st and a regular decision deadline of January 15th. No matter when students apply, all applications are read exactly the same, and everyone has until May 1st to commit to UO. Now, there is one benefit to each, though, to keep in mind. If students apply early action by November 1st and their application is complete by November 15th, they are likely to get a decision from us by mid-December. So I think it's awesome that students would know by the holidays if UO is an option for them. If students apply by January 15th and then complete their application by February 15th, the benefit to that is that we will then take into consideration a student's fall grades. So if that's important to a student, then they would want to apply a little bit later. Now, these are the academic courses we'd like to see students complete. They are not a sole reason why we'd ever deny a student. A student who just completes all these requirements would just be a stronger applicant to UO. We do a holistic review of applications. So this is all the information that's actually taken into consideration when we review applications. You want to note that back in February of 2020, right before COVID hit, we announced that we were test optional. So that means students are not required to submit their test scores. We don't require letters of recommendation, but if they are submitted, we will read them. This year, we were test blind in regards to our merit scholarships, which means we only took into consideration GPAs. So as long as the student met the GPA requirement, they were awarded those scholarships. We don't know yet what next year will look like, so stay tuned. We will make that announcement by this summer. We do offer the Oregon Guarantee, which means that we're going to fix the tuition rate for up to 5 years for a student. Yes, students can definitely graduate in 4 years, but in case they take 5 years, they will pay the same tuition their 5th year as they did their 1st year. So I think it's great for financial planning for students and their families. My name is Ruth Rodriguez, and I am an admissions counselor. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions or need any assistance. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I will reiterate for people who came in just after I said it, that you can use the Q&A button at any time to ask questions of any of our representatives. If it's for a specific school, just name the school in your question. Up next, we will hear from Union College.
Thank you so much. I'm Ann Fleming Brown from Union College, and Union College is located in Schenectady, New York, just west of the state capital of the state of New York, Albany. So students who are coming from California are going to fly to Albany, and then you're 20 minutes from our campus. The Capital District of New York has 3 cities, Troy, Schenectady, and Albany, and also Saratoga Springs. So although Union is the #1 college to visit, there are other colleges in the neighborhood that would welcome you as well. Union has 2,150 students, and we're unusual because we're a small liberal arts college that also offers ABET certified degrees in engineering. Engineering at Union is what 20% of our students study, but still with a liberal arts side. We have students from 40 states and 50 other countries. 24% of our students are BIPOC students. We have a beautiful campus, of which you have a small glimpse here. And remember, in upstate New York, as in New England, the weather's beautiful in the fall and beautiful in the spring. And the winter is the time when you should take your more challenging courses so you can spend some time indoors. At Union, we really care about small classes and the working relationships with faculty members. An introductory class average is 24 students, and upper level class average is 14 students. We have a 3-part academic calendar: fall, winter, and spring, a trimester or an old quarter calendar. That really gives students the opportunity to be in small classes, to connect directly with faculty, to take terms abroad, even if a student chooses to do what so many do, which is to do a double major, an interdisciplinary major, or a major and a minor, or a major and 2 minors. Half of the students at Union study sciences and engineering, math, or computer science. Half of the students are majoring in social sciences and humanities. But we want you to discover, in addition to your primary academic interest, something else that you'd like to pursue. One way we're going to take you through that is because you're going to have a core curriculum, a common curriculum, which allows you to take a few courses in different areas. Everyone starts with a first-year great books class, a sophomore research class, so 100% of the students at Union do research. In the sophomore year, 85% complete senior research projects. So that curriculum is going to give you an introduction to a wide variety of topics and a real chance for you to see maybe a second or a third subject that's of great interest to you. The faculty will encourage you in that too. There are 58 different majors, although our college is small, and the majority have the opportunity for all things. So in terms of immersive experiences, Union students do internships by 85%. In addition to a large alumni network, we also have 50 internships within walking distance of our campus in the city of Schenectady and in the neighborhood, where General Electric students do internships at the local hospital, with the Downtown Redevelopment Authority, or with the mayor of Schenectady. All of those are great opportunities. We also care about students having an international experience while they're at Union. So 85% of the students are doing research with faculty members. They're very engaged in connecting with faculty and doing research projects, but they also are going to go, by 3/4 of the terms abroad, go with a faculty member to another country to study. Students can go for a full term abroad or for a mini term abroad, where they take one course and learn a great deal about a country in a 3-week period. But you really have a chance to enlarge and grow your education to encompass the world. We just feel that everyone is going to be working with people in other parts of the world, and we all need to understand that part better. We are top 20 in the nation for international programs, and the majority of students are taking advantage of all opportunities, whether it's research, whether it's terms abroad, whether it's internships. The vast majority are doing all of these things. We also are a community that has a social house system. That social house system has 7 houses, and each house provides activities for students. Each house has $20,000 or more to spend on social activities in a year. And there are about 400 activities that are sponsored for the entire community by the Minerva House system. My favorites are silly, Milkshake Mondays or Waffle Tuesdays, but you might be involved in a Portuguese language table, or the ever popular Pizza and Politics, where someone from the political science department may come and speak about his or her expertise. You are going to have real opportunities to invest both in our communities of Union and also in Schenectady. There's a fantastic investment in student governance. 2 students sit on the board of trustees as an example. Our graduation rates are high, but also our employment rates are high. 98% of our students are employed within 6 months of graduation, or in graduate school, or with traveling fellowships. Union is a top producer of Fulbright Fellows, and also this year won 3 Watson Fellowships. We're very proud of that accomplishment. Union accepts the common application and the coalition application. We're a competitive college, admitting about 40% of the applicants. We've been test optional for 14 years, and about 40% of the enrolled class did not submit standardized testing. The last piece is financial aid. Union offers need-based financial aid, and we're able to meet the full need of families who apply to the college based on their estimated family contribution. Thank you for taking a look at Union.
Thank you very much. And again, questions you can ask at any time using the Q&A. Check out the chat. That's where the representatives will send you information that you can follow up, contact info, links, that sort of thing. Up next, we will hear from Seattle University.
Hello, everyone. Let me just jump in. We cannot talk about Seattle University without talking about the city of Seattle. As you can see from this photo, we're right up the hill from downtown in a really cool intersection of neighborhoods in the city. Students that choose Seattle U are looking for the best of both worlds. They really value small class sizes, getting to know their faculty members and peers, taking unique classes that change how they think about the world. But at the same time, they cannot imagine just learning within 4 white walls of a classroom. They love that they can spend all day collaborating on a project or interning, but also walk 3 blocks off campus and be at some of the city's best restaurants, music venues, art galleries, bookstores, and so much more. A key part of who we are as a community is we are a Jesuit Catholic university. University. You do not have to be Catholic to attend Seattle U. We have students from all walks of life and all faith backgrounds. But whether you're stepping foot on our campus or any of the other Jesuit institutions, you'll find a shared commitment to social justice, to service, to diversity and inclusion, to thinking about what it means to be a global leader and citizen, and care for the whole person. Students love that we are a residential campus. You will live on campus your first 2 years, and then oftentimes students stay pretty close in one of the neighboring apartment buildings. And you'll get a personalized education. You'll really get to explore all of your interests in very unique ways. But obviously your academic experience will be at the heart of your college experience. So some things to know about us. One, we are direct entry. So when we ask you what your intended major is, we will review you specifically for that major. And that's a benefit, especially for programs like nursing, business, computer science that are competitive, and you want to get started right away. With that said, you do not need to know. In fact, we have a unique program called Pre-Major Studies that is just for undecided or undeclared students. It's the only program like it on the West Coast. You're essentially in your own unique academic advising program and academic department with an advisor that will walk you through the discernment process of finding a major that makes sense. One of the ways we ensure that every student is exposed to a wide variety of different disciplines is our university core curriculum. It's a sequence of 12 courses starting in your first year, but going all the way into a senior practicum or project in your major. It's everything from a math requirement and a writing requirement to a science requirement and an ethics requirement to a philosophy, a comparative religions requirement, to my personal favorite, a hands-on art experience requirement, where you might find everything from costume design to improv, digital photography to sculpture. So certainly a mix of things that ensures you get out of your academic comfort zone and try a wide variety of different programs and courses. Every one of our 4 colleges has its own advising department. So you'll have someone to help you plan how to double major, add a minor, study abroad, and everything in between. They really serve as a one-stop shop to help you navigate and achieve all of your academic goals. You'll also have support for preparing for medical school, law school, a career in education, and so much more. And I would say the central part of a Seattle U experience is our emphasis on experiential and service learning. 4 out of 5 of our students will complete some type of meaningful service experience during their time with us, usually in a core class. Additionally, almost all of our programs have some type of internship or clinical experience. I will also assure you that you will have a ton of fun as a member of our community. We have more than 130 different student clubs and organizations. Our biggest clubs on campus include the E-Gamers Club. We also have more than 25 different cultural and identity-based groups, a student radio station, a newspaper, a musical production company, and so much more. Most of the students I know are also really involved in club and intramural sports, in addition to supporting our Division I team. We have huge concerts like Quadstock, as well as a lot of different opportunities to engage and find community and hopefully bring all of your many identities to our community and campus. Now to switch gears a little bit to talk about the admissions process. We have 2 deadlines. One is early action, which is in November. The other is regular decision in January. We pool all of our decisions and we really try to get to know you holistically. We look at the courses that were available to you and the courses you took, how you challenged yourself, how you've explored your interests, who you are as a leader inside and outside of the classroom, how you've engaged in your community at large, to really imagine who you'll be as a member of our community. I'll also emphasize financial aid and cost. Obviously, that's a huge factor of determining fit. 91.5% of our students do receive some type of financial aid. We have merit scholarships that range from $8,000 to $25,000 per year for the 4 years you're with us. We also have a scholarship called the Sullivan Leadership Award for students that really embody our values and are committed to social justice and leadership. If that sounds like you, please consider applying for that November 15th deadline and the scholarship itself. And with that, I'll just note that I'm looking forward to getting to know each of you and supporting you on your journey. And I hope to welcome you to Seattle U sometime soon.
Thank you very much. And again, I'll mention the Q&A is where you can ask questions of any of our representatives. Up next, we will hear from Brandeis University.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jessica Schulman. I'm a Senior Assistant Director of Admission at Brandeis University. Brandeis University is just outside of Boston, Massachusetts. Boston is the mecca of higher education. I am a Brandeis alum. I am also a Bay Area native, so it's great to be speaking with some of my old neighbors, I suppose. Some brief history about Brandeis that is really important to know when considering Brandeis as an institution. Brandeis was founded at a time where a lot of elite universities and colleges across the United States operated under a quota system. So they would admit students based on race or ethnicity, based on a student's religion, based on if they were male or female and things like that. As we know, that practice is discriminatory in nature. One group that was being discriminated against in that quota system was the American Jewish community. So the American Jewish community came together to create Brandeis as a response to those quotas. So all students would get in based on their own academic merit and not based on the color of their skin or religion or if they were male or female. At the time, that was very revolutionary. There's a lot of themes of diversity, equity, and inclusion in Brandeis, both academically as well as socially. We are a non-sectarian university. There is no religious component to Brandeis or anything like that. It's a very diverse campus in terms of race, ethnicity, religion, etc. Some values that are really important to Brandeis. We are founded by the American Jewish community based on three major values. The first one is an R1 research university. There is a big emphasis on research at Brandeis. Research comes in many forms, whether it's the hard sciences, the social sciences, the humanities, the fine arts. Every major needs research, right? In the United States, there's about 130 tier 1 research universities that support research at that highest level, whether that's funding or resources geared towards research. The average size of a tier 1 school in the United States is 26,000 undergraduate students. Brandeis is the second smallest research university in the country. We are only 3,600 undergraduates plus about 2,000 graduate students. So you have the funding and resources of a big school at the size of a little bit larger than a liberal arts university, kind of giving you the best of both worlds. You're not competing against hundreds of other students or graduate students for positions in the various research centers, institutes, and labs across campus. One of our other major values is an emphasis on social justice. You'll find that a lot of Brandeis students are coming to Brandeis because they want to advocate for something, change something, fix something in their community, whether that's advocating for LGBTQ rights or environmental sustainability, finding a cure for something, working with refugees, whatever your cause is, you'll find that Brandeis is an incredible platform for launching those initiatives. In terms of our academics, we operate under a core curriculum. It's very flexible. There's no required classes. You choose what you take in order to fulfill various requirements. Our university writing seminar is part of your first year experience where you can choose writing classes like DC and Disney villains or biomedical ethics. So you really get to explore things that you're interested in, but still get to write at that college level. Some other highlights of our core curriculum include a health and wellness component where instead of PE components, you are thinking about financial literacy or CPR and first aid, stress management, things that might serve you a little bit better maybe as you're an adult. Another part I really enjoy is our difference and justice in the world, oral communication, digital communication. A lot of those requirements are housed within your major. Brandeis students, over half of them double major in things that often can go really nicely together, whether that's neuroscience and psychology or business and economics. Other students find interest on polar opposite ends of the spectrum. Maybe you're a student who likes chemistry and theater or computer science and East Asian studies. Brandeis is a really great place to launch those initiatives. In terms of on campus and what that looks like, again, a very dynamic community, over 200 different clubs and organizations ranging from business and academic based groups to media and publications. To completely random ones, my personal favorite is the Cheese Club. They import fancy cheese from around the world and then they eat it, and that is their club. All of our clubs are open and inclusive to everybody, and that's the only way they get funding from student government, which goes back to our values of inclusion and equity. You're guaranteed 2 years of housing on campus. However, 80% of our students live on campus for all 4 years. Our classes of 2020, in the middle of a pandemic, 94% of them were employed within 6 months of graduation, either working full-time in graduate school, medical school, or law school, or doing Peace Corps or AmeriCorps service types of programs. Our pre-health advising is rather popular, and Brandeis students get into medical school about 20 to 25% higher than the national average. We've been test optional since 2013. Again, it's a very holistic process, like a number of the other institutions here today. We're looking at everything. We want to get to know you for your voice and your identity and values and perspectives. Brandeis does meet full need. You do need to submit both the FAFSA and the CSS profile for domestic-based students if you have US citizenship or permanent residency. If your family can, if you're admitted to Brandeis and your family can pay X amount of money, Brandeis agrees to meet the rest of that cost based on a review of those documents. So with that, just some things to keep in mind about Brandeis. If Brandeis feels like the right place for you, a lot of social justice, a lot of opportunities to engage with your professors in a research component. And I look forward to answering any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. Questions can be asked using the Q&A button at any time. Up next, let's hear from Johns Hopkins University.
Hey, welcome everyone. My name is Krista Grubb. I am an assistant director of admissions at Hopkins and also an alum, and I have family in the Bay Area. My parents are here in Woodside, so nice to once again see some of the people who are potentially my neighbors here. So when we're talking about Hopkins today, we are talking about the undergraduate campus. So that is home to our 5,000 undergraduate students. That is its own campus separate from the other Hopkins campuses. So you'll see here that we have a lot of Hopkins campuses and the Hopkins network is wide and vast. However, we have our own undergraduate campus. Hopkins was founded as the first research university in the country, and we are still to this day the most federally funded institution. And so that's also paired with our liberal arts background. So when you leave today, I want you to leave remembering the equation: liberal arts plus hands-on experiences equals Hopkins. So let's dive into that liberal arts piece first. The liberal arts background means that students are getting a broad background in all different disciplines. They're learning how to think analytically, think strategically, write well, no matter what their major is. So this will make them adaptable for any field. We want them to be prepared for their entire career, not just that first job out of college. And so our students have a lot of time to explore different topics, start figuring out what they like. So when you apply to Hopkins, you don't apply into a major or into even one of our two schools. You apply to the institution as a whole. There's one exception to that, which is biomedical engineering, but for all other majors, you're applying to the institution as a whole. You have time to explore, so you have until the end of your second year to declare that major. You can also add on additional majors and minors after that point, but you are allowed to combine different interests across both schools. You actually have to take classes across both schools because of our flexible distribution system. So what that means is you'll take classes in the humanities, the social sciences, the natural sciences, engineering, but you decide what courses those are. So no two students ever have the exact same schedule. There's not a core curriculum, but once again, you still get that breadth in your curriculum. Over 60% of our students decide to pursue multiple interests once they try different classes in different areas. The other half to that education is that hands-on experience I talked about. And so at Hopkins, being the first research university in the country, we are still to this day the most federally funded. We spent over $2.5 billion with a B in research this past year, and our undergraduates have access to all of that, not just on the Homewood undergraduate campus, but across all the different campuses that we have, including the applied physics lab, the medical campus, et cetera. And so our students have access to all of that starting day one freshman year. Our students are not only doing research underneath professors, but they're also doing their own research through grants. For example, one of our students utilized grant money to travel to Scotland and Ireland and did a whole summer full of Gaelic studies. So research is not just the wet labs, it's also in the humanities, social sciences, et cetera. Internships are another great way to get that hands-on experience. We have lots of internships for both for-profits and nonprofits, including the Community Internship Impact Program, which sets our students up with nonprofits across the city. Speaking of the city, that's a huge piece of the Hopkins experience. Our students are not just students on the Homewood campus, but also across the city of Baltimore. That's their home for 4 years. Our students are both leaders on our campus and across Baltimore. We have over 400 student groups on campus, and our campus is 100% student driven and led. So we have the largest student run fair in the country. We have students who are bringing amazing speakers to campus, and it's all the students who are doing the marketing, budgeting, scheduling, etc. Our students also have a unique place in Baltimore because it's a college town, it's young, it's vibrant. So our students are able to make a real impact. They're changing policies, they are changing sustainability efforts in the city, even transportation. One of our students worked with a nonprofit to create bike lanes across the city. But it's also a fun place to live because it's young, it's vibrant, it's also accessible as a student, both financially and physically, to get around the city. And so for that reason, a lot of alumni decide to stay. And as you can see here, it's rated one of the top cities in the country for young new grads. So if you're thinking about Hopkins, I want to quickly outline that we have multiple rounds. So we have early decision 1, and these were the dates for this past year. We have early decision 2, regular decision, and transfer. We are a holistic review process. So in all of those different circumstances, we will look at all the different pieces to understand your academic character, your impact and initiatives outside the classroom, as well as your match with the institution. Now, when you're thinking about match, you should be thinking about the financial fit before you apply to any college. Hopkins is able to meet 100% of demonstrated need, and they're able to do that through grants, work study, no loans. So our students are graduating Hopkins completely debt-free. Additionally, the vast majority of our students are not paying that sticker price. And so you'll see here that the average grant awarded was $48,000. So when you're thinking about institutions for a fit, I highly recommend looking at the net price calculator to start getting an idea now of how that institution would be a good fit for you and your family. And then lastly, I want to highlight, we have a lot of great opportunities for you to learn more about Hopkins, but also just to get you started. Being here today is a great first step, but we have a lot of great opportunities for you to start getting more access to college planning and college application process. So with that, I wanted to thank you all so much for coming, and I hope you have a great rest of your night.
Thank you very much. And again, questions can be asked using the Q&A button. And check out the chat. If there are any information coming your way from the representatives, they'll send it to you using the chat, like contact info, links, that sort of thing. Up next, we will hear from Clark University.
All right, good evening, everybody. Last school during the last session of the night. Thank you all for sticking around for a little while. My name is Natasha Kathari. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm an assistant director of admissions at Clark University. I am so excited to talk with you about Clark, about why we are one of only 40 institutions in the country that is considered a college that changes lives. So first of all, I am talking to you all from Worcester, Massachusetts, which is the second largest city in New England, and also the city that Clark calls home. The campus is only about 5 minutes from downtown by car, and many of our students go into the city for recreation purposes, for internships, jobs, etc. Clark itself has about 2,200 undergrads and about 800 graduate students. We offer over 30 different majors, but the most popular ones are psychology, business management, biology, international development and social change, and political science. So a pretty diverse mix. It is important to know that Clark is both a liberal arts university and a research university. And in fact, we are the smallest combination research/liberal arts university in the entire country, which is pretty exciting. And both of those parts of our identity contribute to our award-winning curriculum model, which is called LEAP. LEAP stands for Liberal Education and Effective Practice. The components that you see on the screen are different parts of the LEAP experience at Clark. I'm not going to go over all of them, but I do want to highlight, for example, the first year intensive, the FYI. This is a small seminar style class that every Clark student will take during their first semester in any one of 36 different subjects, ranging from the art of the pitch to queer horror. So these are definitely really, really exciting classes. And the person teaching that class becomes the student's first academic advisor. So that personal attention at Clark starts really early. It continues during students' time at Clark through personalized advising throughout their entire career at the university, also through our faculty to student ratio, which is 1 to 10. Students continue to explore our liberal arts curriculum through the program of liberal studies and through our highly experiential POP courses, or problems of practice courses, which are really hands-on classes available in every single department at Clark. The hands-on learning doesn't stop there. Our students will take advantage of opportunities like studying abroad. About a third of our students do so. About 2/3 of our students complete research during their time at Clark, including Katie Gross, one of our current juniors, who actually just was awarded the Barry Goldwater Scholarship for her research in genetics, which she started during her first year. And 84% of our students complete at least one internship before senior year even starts. And so there are lots of universities and colleges that offer similar experiences, but Clark is really one of those places where you will be able to take advantage of these experiences in your time at the university. Students do then complete this capstone experience to synthesize this rich narrative of experiences that they've had during their time at Clark. And all of these pieces together, the classroom pieces, the experiential pieces, add up to a really successful group of alumni. For our 2020 graduating class, 97% of our alumni were employed in graduate school or in voluntary service programs within 6 months of graduation. And that, of course, includes our 5th year students. So at Clark University, we have 14 different master's programs that are part of what we call either 5th year or our accelerated degree program. This is a set of programs that students can complete in just 1 additional year. And for students who have been at Clark for all 4 years, that 5th year program is completely tuition free. So talk about adding a lot of value to your education. And these programs include things like business management, part of our internationally ranked School of Management, our Geography Information Systems program, one of the top geography programs in the world, our Masters of Arts in Teaching program, the #1 MAT program in Massachusetts. Culturally, our campus is very diverse. We have about 23% of our student body self-identifies as students of color. About 21% of our students are international. 19% of our students are first-generation students. We do have a very residential campus. Students are required to live on campus for their first 2 years, and many do continue to live on campus, and the vast majority will continue to at least live in the neighborhood right around campus. Culturally, this is a place that really loves learning. You're gonna run into a lot of people with double majors, and in fact, 90% of our student body at least has a major paired with a minor. This is also a really active student body outside of the classroom though, very social justice oriented, very community focused, and definitely a community that values collaboration over competition. In terms of extracurricular activities and sports, we have over 130 student organizations, which when you do the math is about 1 organization for every 17 students, pretty remarkable. We are Division III for athletics and have 17 varsity sports plus club and intramural sports, and we do not have Greek life, which is intentional. Now, when it comes to admissions, I do want to acknowledge that this has been a really weird year and that there's a lot that's stressful about the application process. It's important to note that, like many of the other schools you've heard from tonight, we read applications very holistically, and so we are going to take the time to understand your unique context and your story. We are ultimately looking for students who are really excited to learn and who care about their communities. You can see our 4 different application timelines for first years, as well as our rolling deadline for transfers on the screen. And we are test optional. We've been test optional since 2012. In terms of tuition and financial aid and scholarships, 85% of Clark students receive some form of aid, and you are automatically considered for scholarships when you apply, ranging up to $20,000 per year. We do also have some more generous scholarships, like our Presidential Leap Scholarship, which require a separate application. I'm going to wrap it up right there, but thank you so much for tuning in tonight. If you do have any questions for our office, feel free to reach out at admissions@clarku.edu. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. And I'm going to ask all of our reps to come back on camera and turn on their microphones so I can do a quick little Q&A. I get to play talk show hosts, which I enjoy doing, but it's also great because we get a little value added stuff for everybody attending right now. We'll have you answer in the same order that you presented. And the first question is what one piece of advice would you give someone going through the college search process? We'll start with the University of Oregon.
Hi, everyone. I think this event is so great, especially the first session where you were able to, get your hands on and look at what an application looks like. And if you walk away knowing what an application looks like, what your child needs to be filling out, I think that's the most important thing. Students, be prepared for that. I think it can be very daunting and stressful to fill out applications, but we're asking just information about yourself. So just be prepared for that and have an understanding of what type of information you have to provide. Because remember, for many of us, that application is the only thing we have to make a decision on your admission. Thanks.
Union College.
Thank you. Do you remember when you were in 4th grade and you learned how to tell dumb jokes, and you came home at dinner and you told the dumb jokes at the dinner table, and then you called your grandparents on the telephone to tell them the same silly jokes? I want you to get some jokes ready for the college admissions process. I want you as a family to laugh. Laugh about what it's like to visit colleges or make the trip or what people have said or the questions you get asked. Laugh a little bit about yourself and what you're thinking about. Find a way to make things funny. And if you want to make things funny, make sure that you bring snacks with you in the car if you take a college trip so people can feel good about visiting every college. But laughter is going to bring you a lot of pleasure through this process. And it's also going to open the door to that feeling of pride of being ready for college and pride of watching your children get ready for college.
Seattle University.
I would hope that you know that each one of us is here to support you. We're not here to sell you on a school. We're not here to say no or scare you away. We're really here to be a resource and an advocate and help you on your journey to finding what is truly the right fit for you. So never hesitate to pick up the phone, to send an email or a text whenever you have a question. Many of us entered this field because we were the first in our families to navigate this, and we know just how challenging and daunting it can be. So know you have a lot of people in every admissions office that wants to support you.
Brandeis University.
My piece of advice typically relates to staying as open-minded as possible. There's so many different colleges in the United States, from small liberal arts schools to big research universities and everything in between. And there's programs that you might not have even heard of yet, places and locations and clubs that you don't even know exist. And keeping an open mind, I think, is the best way to start at least that process of figuring out, what do you want? What do I want in that college process? Maybe you make a Google Doc or something and list out your non-negotiables and then go from there if that feels daunting. But being open-minded, I think, at least starting out your process, is probably my best piece of advice.
Johns Hopkins University.
Going along those lines, I really recommend taking the time now to start figuring out just what you like. What type of environment, rural, urban, etc., size of school, because that'll help you create your list. And the more genuine a fit it is, the stronger your applications are going to be automatically. And so really think about what is true to you and what you want and what you like. And it doesn't matter what your best friend is doing, what family members say. It's really about what you want for yourself. So really stay true to that. And the best way to do that is start figuring that out now.
And Clark University.
Thank you. So I feel like a lot of the application process centers around what you're showing us, what you want us to know in our admissions offices. And I want to turn the tables a little bit to think about what serves you. So as you're going through this process, think about the institution that's going to serve you best. What's the place, or maybe what's the list of places that are going to not just, be there for you now, support you now, but that are also going to support the kind of person you want to be. So I know that it can feel like there's some pressure to present yourself in a certain way. And obviously we want you to put your best foot forward, and we look forward to getting to know you. But ultimately our job is to serve you.
I want to thank you all for sharing that great advice. Also, thank you for sharing all the information about each of your schools. I want to thank you all for joining us, and all of our attendees for joining us for this session. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. Also, there are more sessions tomorrow. Be sure to sign up for more if you haven't done so already. And in about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all of the other session recordings at strivescan.com/BACS. Once again, thank you to our 6 representatives for presenting during this session. Appreciate it very much. And thank you all for attending. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, what's left of it. Take care.
Good night.